Hey everybody, it's Fritz Campbell again, and welcome, and God bless you. Along those lines, this is our first talk, our first part of 12 10-minute discussions on blessings. 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 Beautiful, deep, wonderful subject. And maybe for you and I are concerned, the best part is incredibly easy to do, immediate results. It's our right, it's our gift, it's our responsibility. And I think as we get into it, very quickly you'll see, hey, I think I intuitively knew this already. Maybe I didn't know where it came from, or it seemed too spooky. But yet it works. It works because it's a spiritual law. Spiritual law meaning that like gravity, physical law, right? Law of physics. We know the sciences tell us, the law of gravity is the same here as it is trillions and trillions of light years away. And we're all fine with that, with accepting that. The word tells us that there was nothing. God thought it and spoke it into existence. The same God that says many other things that are more true. In other words, physics will die with the universe. Scientists tell us in 100 trillion years, the universe will collapse on itself. None of us have a problem or even any desire to disagree with the scientists who told us that. They got, big old heads, and that's where they're gifted. The word tells us the same thing, that the universe he wears it like a cloak, and it will wear out. And if he feels like it, he'll put on another one. So that voice, that God behind it that spoke the universe into existence, also gives us his promises. I'll never leave nor forsake you. Give, and it will be given unto you. Man will give into your bosom, pressed down, shaken up together. And we know even non-Christians or everybody on earth sort of stumbles into truths, bread on the water, what goes around comes around, karma, all those things, reaping and sowing. You get what you give. The law of attraction, people, you get what you think about your energy level, right? You put out those good vibes come back to you. Now, the great thing about spiritual laws is that they're sacrosanct. They work. They're perfect. We as humans, the guy across town who's maybe of another belief, Scientologist or something, or a Hindu, and they've found these same truths, right? That man, when I give, whether it's money or time or love, that the synchronicity seems to come back. I always get. And so all these things I do that are attached to my belief system, they must be right too, because I give and I get. God's blessing me. So not eating cow because it might be a reincarnated relative must be correct, because I know that I'm correct about this giving thing. A faulty understanding of the difference between, a belief system in the way that God's made it for us, and one of these, what I call crumbs in the forest, back to God, right? He's left so many good things for us. It's his good pleasure to give us the kingdom. And these are crumbs, these spiritual laws that he's hoping that we stumble onto them and we finally realize, man, there really is a God and he must be true. Because for some reason, I don't have a whole lot of money, but when I give some to somebody, the favor always gets back, leading back to him, not stopping there like most of us do in most religions or most belief systems. Say, oh, well, I must be right. having my women put the stuff on their head and being in a patriarchal society, because I'm right about the spiritual law. If I give, he's blessing me. No, we have to understand the spiritual laws are the same as like gravity. If I jump off the roof, gravity's going to suck me down and I'm going to break my leg, worse. And so the spiritual law is intact. It's the same. If I give, it's a spiritual law. It has to come back. It's created by God. And so it's just as sure as gravity. Now, blessing. The beautiful thing about blessing is it's a spiritual law. When you bless, when you say good things, when you bless other people, it works. So we'll get into some of the details, and it's really pretty interesting. At the big picture, I'm going to lay out some of the details, just the basic steps, and then give you an opportunity to try it. And just like giving 10% or tithing or giving your money to others, God says, test me, prove me. You'll see. He doesn't specifically use the blessing in the same verbiage, test me. But when you bless others, you will find that you will be blessed. And then hopefully you'll continue to do it and realize that the God behind that beautiful gift loves you and cares for you. So the word, if you're my fellow Christians, we read the Holy Bible, 66 books, the Old Testament, the creation of man, grace, the gift of righteousness given to Abraham, and then 400 years later, the law, and man's slow understanding that you can't earn it. Malachi, the end of the first half, not half in pages, but the end of the Old Testament, and Israel's lost and complaining and whining, and Malachi comes and gives them maybe the most. It's so sweet because it's so direct and succinct and right to the point. There's no hemming or hawing or messing around. The people cry out to Malachi, and once they realize he's an apostle and he's inspired and he's speaking for God, and they ask and he tells them, it's like, how come we're not being blessed? How come the unrighteous are making money and living a wonderful life, and here we are? Malachi says, because your sacrifices are like a stink. And they're like, what? What do you mean? And he's very strict. You don't bring me the best anymore. You bring me the refuse. You bring me the leftover. You bring me the lame. You're not giving me my respect. And the list goes on. They voice their worry and fear. Malachi is very straightforward. It tells them, hey man, it's time to get back to paying attention to God's word. And in 400 years, there's silence. And then Jesus Christ, the new covenant, the New Testament, the fulfillment of the law, foretold countless, 289 times how it was going to come about, and the facts that the Jew of that day wouldn't listen or pay attention. So first half, and then Jesus, the end of the law, the completion of the law, the end of having to perform, the end of worrying about am I good enough or blah blah blah, all those kind of things, and spoken of numerous times in the Old Testament. I lay before you blessing and cursing. Choose life that you might live. It talks about the tongue being a small little organ, but capable of setting fire, right? The things that we say, the things that we do. And it goes back to that thoughts, speaking it, boom, power and authority, right? Where Jesus, aren't you little gods? God said, he thought it, then he spoke it, and then it came to pass. And so, obviously, we're not God, but we have, in his image, we have that power on a smaller scale, right?